Doubled up, folks. There we go. The old confidence bait, the SP78. Beautiful fish. It is freaking cold out here.
Check out this.
What is that?
I don't know.
Coming out of his long hole. Must have had like too much Laffy Taffy or something.
Jerkbait is a great bait to throw any time of the year. It shines in the fall, winter, and pre-spawn, and that's when most people throw them. This is the most common size, the 110 to 112 size. This is the best size most of the time, but there are exceptions to that. A couple of reasons why the fish may shy away from this standard size is pressure. They see a lot of these throughout the winter. It's what everybody's throwing. You got a rig, jerkbait, and a jig, probably the three most common baits on the deck of anybody's boat during the winter time. Sometimes they want a smaller bait. They want a more finesse package. A finesse jig is popular. A finesse shaky head is popular in the winter. Small blade baits. Sometimes the fish just prefer a little bit smaller package. So you need this standard size 110, but you also need some of these smaller jerkbaits. Most hard bait companies that make a jerkbait also make a finesse style of that jerkbait. There's a ton of them out there. This is an old school one. This is the Storm Thunderstick, super finessey. Rapala, the Husky jerk. It's been around forever. It comes in several different sizes in that finesse profile. Here you have the small Husky jerk. This is a little bit bigger Husky jerk. Both finesse jerk baits. Once again, for comparison, the Berkley Stunna 112. The Lucky Craft SP78 comes in a DD model and the original Bill model. The Squirrel DD79, another great jerkbait that gets down there pretty good. The Knee-Shine, this is a 95 SD jerkbait, kind of a newer jerkbait. It's kind of starting to get some popularity, but it still has that finesse profile. Mega Bass makes a Vision 110 Junior. It's that smaller finesse style. This is the cheaper version. This is the Lucky Craft, kind of the knockoff, but it's still that finesse package. There's a lot of companies out there that make this bait, and there's a reason why. Sometimes fish prefer a smaller package.
There he is. I don't know if you can see, there's a laydown right there. And I just let this thing fall down. It's a nice fish. Just let this jerkbait fall down beside that laydown. He's barely hooked. He's barely hooked. Get in here. Right. Go. See that laydown right there? I threw about, I don't know, about 10 feet off to where you can see it, probably 20 feet off where you can see it. And I just twitched that jerkbait and just let it fall. I got this weighted to where it sinks really, really slow. And my line just got tight. That fish was sitting right on that little laydown right there. The little SP78, Lucky Craft, in the bait fish color. It's kind of been, I mean, I've been getting a few bites on this winter. It's a nice jerkbait. It's finessey. I'm throwing it on 10-pound test. Got that little loose jerkbait rod. It gets down there about 8 feet. I've got it weighted to where it's sinking kind of slow. So you can just twitch it and just let it fall.
These jerkbaits are light. They're a little bit more difficult to throw around. A lot of times a spinning rod is the way to go. If you've got a really light action bait caster, you can certainly throw those around as long as there's not too much wind involved. This is a loose custom light topwater jerkbait rod. It is a 6'8" and it's a medium light action rod. And I can throw this SP78 DD pretty good with this setup right here. Just got a loose 7-to-1 gear ratio reel. 10-pound test, 8 to 10-pound test is key on these light jerk baits, but it's a lot easier to just throw them on a spinning rod. You can go braid to 8-pound fluoro or a straight 8-pound fluoro on a 7-foot, 6'8", 7-foot, 7'2", maybe even 7'4" spin casting rod, something that's medium or medium light, a 2500 series, a 3000 series spinning reel. You're not gonna have to worry about backlash. The spinning rod's also an advantage in really cold temperatures. You got bigger guides, they don't tend to freeze up as bad, whereas something like this, it gets pretty thin. These guides get pretty tight right here towards the end of the tip. So you got below freezing temperatures, or you got temperatures where it's right at freezing and the wind's blowing, you're going to get that wind chill and you're going to get a little more ice in the guides. Spinning rod is a good idea. Of all the different finesse jerkbaits out there, the one that's produced the best for me has been the Lucky Craft SP78, the DD version.
There he is. Nice. Little jerkbait. Sitting right on the end of that point. Just had to let it sit for a minute. With that back hook. Barely hooked. Got it. About hooked myself. Got caught up in my band-aid. There we go. Just on a little SP78.
The DD version has that little bit bigger bill that allows this bait to get down there in that 7-foot zone. Here's the original SP78 and here's the SP78 DD. A little bit bigger bill. This bait is going to get down there in that 7-foot zone, maybe 8 foot. This is going to hang around that 4 to 5 foot zone. SP78 comes in a ton of colors. This right here has been one of my favorite. This is called Baitfish. It's got a white bottom, silver side, dark back. It's got that little bit of red on the throat. This is an all-around jerkbait. No matter what conditions, you can still catch some fish on this. Some of the other ones, this bluegill color, for some reason, I think when the water is really cold, the fish are kind of muted. The bait fish are kind of muted. The bluegill are kind of muted. Something like this bluegill gets a lot of bites, and not a lot of people throw a bluegill colored jerkbait. It's just kind of overlooked. It's mainly a shad thing, or something like this table rock. Really popular color. White, blue, and just kind of contrast. When you need something to contrast, to break through overcast days, this is a really good color. But once again, this bait fish still works in those same conditions, even though it's much different. Sometimes they want a lot of flash. This is basically the clown color, the old school clown color. Got that loud chartreuse and red, and you got the chrome on the sides and a little bit light colored belly. This gets their attention, puts off a lot of flash. You got bluebird skies, got a little bit of wind. You really need something to stand out. This is a good color to try. This one still works in that same condition. The SP78 is a little bit different than most. It's got a size 6 in the back, and I believe this is a size 4 in the front. So you get a nice big meaty hook. You can lean on them. You can fish this on a light rod. You can fish it on a little bit stiffer rod because of that hook. It's not going to bend out. It's solid. In fact, I'd recommend a little bit heavier action rod with this jerkbait simply because of this big hook. It's a little bit meatier, and it's a little harder to drive to penetrate in that fish's mouth. You know, the fish in cold water, their mouths are hard. It takes a little bit of force when you've got a meatier hook to get it in there.
Feels like a lot better fish. That was a nice bite. It's just sitting there, and all of a sudden I saw my line drop. My line just jumped. Oh yeah, that's the one we're looking for. That's the one we're looking for. That's a nice one. That's a nice one there. Come here, buddy. Come up in here. Let's take a look at you. Yeah, he got it good that time. All right. Fat fish. It's hard to change. I think I found the color. I mean, you know, we talked about trying a bunch of different stuff, and I still will. But man, look how fat that fish is. They're so healthy right now. Beautiful colors. Nice bright belly. Just great, man. It's awesome. But that little SP78.
Next time you're out on the lake, you're scanning, you see fish up off the bottom, they're in position to bite a jerkbait, you can't get bit, or you're fishing a lake that's getting a lot of winter pressure from people throwing the standard 110, 112 size jerkbait. Pull out some of these finesse jerkbaits. Give them a try. You'll be surprised on a day when you think they're just not biting a jerkbait. This right here will do the trick. It'll get you some bites that I think you normally would not have got. Give me a thumbs up if you appreciate the content. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. And don't forget to try these. I think this is going to up your game a little bit. Got a lot of confidence in these. They're just finessey. When the fish are in a kind of a foul mood, a neutral mood, sometimes something a little bit different like this will get you a few more bites. Until next time.